welcome to the LiveWire special holiday Christmas show, where we will be discovering some of the great and wonderful celebrations of this time of the year. Kwanzaa, Diwali, Hanukkah, and traditional Christmas. It will also be featuring some holiday music for various artists, so join me right after this. So with me in the studio, Imani Lucas, who is the Chief Executive Director of a major institution in our town, right? What's
Yes,
it called?
sir.
It's called United and Guided.
Yes, sir.
This is great. And also there is Lashanya Brasil. Did I say it right?
Brazel.
Brazel, okay. Yep. Mine's Tatter, they say Tatter,
Yes,
all kinds of
okay.
things. And then Joseph Thomas. Easy enough.
Yes,
How are you, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm doing pretty good, sir.
Good.
How about yourself?
Hanging in.
Sir.
So look at us here. Look at you. You are dressed up for this time of year.
Yes, yes.
This is really great. Do you actually go out with that on?
You know, every once in a while I'll do, because there will be an opportunity to wear this type of garb.
I love it. It's just fabulous colors. And these are called dashikis, right?
Yes.
And that is
It's just a print, a jumpsuit or print or,
jumpsuit.
yes, jumpsuit,
Yeah.
that's called a jumpsuit.
Really nice.
Yeah, thank you,
Really nice,
with the African print.
So dashikis are worn pretty much year round, but I think they get more colorful at this time of year, right?
Yeah, you know, people usually wear a dashiki to celebrate a holiday like Kwanzaa, because, you know, they're festive, they're colorful, they're vibrant. You know, they represent what Kwanzaa is all about all things beautiful.
All things beautiful. And the specific colors in your, there's a lot of symbolism that goes around when you create an event like Christmas, you know, the tree and all of that.
Yes.
But all of the other countries and cultures, they invest symbolism and color too.
Absolutely. And, you know, for the artists in Africa, you know, who may have come up with some of those original colors, were adapted by African Americans in the United States. So in 1966, they started celebrating Kwanzaa, and, you know, really taking from some of those traditions in Africa, some of that style, some of the color, some of the vibrancy that was out there,
Yeah.
and bringing it into our celebrations and some of our traditions as African Americans here.
That's great. That's really good. And did it go backwards into Africa? Did they pick it up?
Absolutely. So for here with Dr. Ron Karenga, who
Yeah.
eventually changed his name to Mauluna Karenga.
Great.
He was a professor at Cal State. And, you know, he was the one to bring it together to where, you know, people had something to celebrate that was outside the general kind of consumer nature of what the holidays were all about. Of course, for Christians, it was about Christmas. Of course, for Jews, it was around Hanukkah. But African Americans, they felt that they didn't have their own way to celebrate. And, you know, Dr. Karenga decided that he wanted to create this around certain principles.
7 principles.
Yes.
Ah, can we talk about the principles?
Well, what happened is, Ray, we ended up turning this into a week-long festive holiday
I see.
for the United States over here, right? Because we felt that it was a need for our culture to celebrate other than the stigmatization of Christmas. Not saying there's nothing wrong with the way other people decide to celebrate their holidays.
Sure.
We just felt that there was a need for the African American family to have something, right? Something that is associated with our culture and associated to our beginning, right? And just like Imani was telling you, a lot of the colors has to do with a lot of the festivities and a lot of the fruitfulness, right? So what we do is we look at the colors in the celebration, and we have a meaning for every single day
Of those days that
of
you
those
set
days,
aside.
those 7 days.
And those
What are the
days-
dates anyway?
Those days are December the 26th through January the 1st.
I see.
Those are the 7 days.
Okay, well, why don't we talk about what happens?
Yes,
I assume that food goes in there too.
absolutely.
Let's talk about that too.
Yes. Well, you know, not only the food, but the symbolism as well, right? So as you know, the Jews have the menorah, and they light candles for the days of Hanukkah.
Yeah.
You know, for Kwanzaa, we have what's called a kinara, which represents the 7 principles of the Nguzo Saba. And, you know, it looks very much like a menorah, and you add the candles, which are red, black, and green, right? And they represent the different struggles. It's the red that symbolizes the struggles of our past collectively in Africa and the United States. The black, of course, represents black people around the world. And then the green represents the earth and all the possibilities that the earth has to offer us as individuals and us as collective beings.
That's great. That's
And
great.
each night, Ray, we light one of these candles in representation of those, right? So every night, the family gets together, we light one of the candles, and we celebrate that night as one of the nights.
That's great. That's great. Good. So what happens on the second night?
Well, starting with the first, I'm just going to read the first one. Who's gonna read the first
Sure,
one?
sure.
We'll just go right into the 7 principles
Okay.
for the 7 nights. So, who's going to? Luke, you gonna?
Oh, yes. Okay, well, the first night is unity, right? And unity represents us telling our stories of achievement and what could have been and our accomplishments.
That's right.
To
And
this day, to strive for and to maintain unity in the family and community.
This is correct. And the Swahili word for this term is umoja,
Umoja.
right? Umoja,
Umoja.
which means unity.
Right.
The second day is about self-determination. It's called kujicha kulia, right? And that's Swahili for self-determination. And it's on this day that we define, name, create, and we speak for ourselves. So, you know, some activities that folks may do on Kwanzaa, on kujicha kulia, is they'll make caramel apples, right? So, you know, you think about the Christmas holiday where you make gingerbread houses, we make caramel apples representing that core of the apple, getting down to the core of why we're on this earth, the core of why we come together and do what we do. And then, you know, that core of the apple sort of represents
It's good.
getting to the
We
core
were
of
talking
yourself.
earlier about symbolism and color
There you
and
go.
form.
Right.
And here it is in an apple.
Yeah,
There we go.
absolutely.
Right.
And then the third one is the ujima, and it means collective work and responsibility. And on this day, we build and maintain our community together, make our brothers and sisters' problems our problems. This is the perfect night for a potluck, all the good food. Everyone's contribution shows the importance of bringing family together on this night.
Another unity.
Another unity, which is
That's
important.
what I
Yes.
absolutely love right there, Ray. I'm not going to lie to you, brother.
Yeah.
And then
And
our
then-
fourth one is, you want to say something, Luke?
Yeah, just something about the collective work and responsibility. You know, unity is one thing that we come together and we unify. Collective work and responsibility is usually for others. Like, how can we serve our community, but how do we do it together? So yes, we are unified in that sense, but it takes it a step further when we're talking about actual work and actual doing projects
I can
together.
see that.
Support,
Absolutely
support,
right.
yes.
And yeah, Ray, that leaves us to Ujama, which is number 4 on the list, which represents cooperative economics, right? And this word represents the day and time where we as a people build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses and profit from them all together. What this does is helps the community creates a socioeconomical structure where we can benefit for all year round, right? So at the end, you want to try to find you a local restaurant, a local store that represents Kwanzaa, and go check them out.
That's great. That's great.
And number 5 is Nia, which in English is purpose. And on this day, we put ourselves on the path of purpose by setting goals for ourselves in our community. And this is a great time to focus on community and outreach. And that goes right hand in hand with cooperative economics. So you have the businesses in the community. Now you're going to go out and outreach, connect with each other. So all of us know collectively that there's
Now,
support.
these are all discussed at each dinner.
Absolutely,
I see.
absolutely.
Okay. Very interesting.
So not every day is about giving
Yes.
physical gifts. Some of them are just about coming together and trying to serve others, coming together and trying to empower others, maybe economically, coming together just for the sake of coming together, right? So it's not necessarily about like what you can buy and what you can give, but who you can be and when you can be there for somebody else.
And building a village, just building a strong village.
I see it.
We have 7 here, right?
Number 6.
No, the sixth day is creativity, and they call that one Kumba. This is one of my favorites because really this is a day where you want to try to explore all your talents and maybe things that you've kind of pent up during the year. And that day is a day that you want to express something very creatively. So, you know, it involves a lot of song and a lot of dance and all the stuff that we love to do around the holiday seasons, right? So, it's really just a way, even in food, to express your creativity for the sake of the group and them doing the same thing for you.
That's great. That's really great. Okay, and that's
Number
it.
7 here, Ray, we have Imani.
Imani.
Oh, you heard that word before.
Yes,
huh?
oh, I sure have.
Right. It's sitting right next to you. Well, that also represents faith.
Yes.
Right? And what we do that day, this is often a day that one self-reflect, that ends with the sharing of gifts, focusing on all that has came before you for the last year, and all that is around you, which family, pets, wealth, right? And you actually just being thankful for everything that's around you, right? With all of our hearts and our people and our parents and our teachers and our leaders. So we're really basically just appreciating everything that's around us and our around, right? And that's Imani.
That's
And you're
Imani.
gonna and you're gonna take
And he
that.
does.
Yes, he does. And you're gonna take that faith, that word Imani, that faith, and move into the new year with that, with all that you've
I
come
see.
together as collectively during those 6-7 days. You're gonna move forward with that faith in mind, Imani.
Well, it's kind of also a planning
Absolutely.
period of time.
Being prosperous for the next year. So
It's like a blueprint, if you would say, right?
A blueprint.
For families to follow, because we come up, as you know, with really nothing to hold on to, right? So what Dr. Karinga did was gave us something that we can hold on to as a family, right? So our festive activities really go on all year round, right? We just recited during the month of December
there you
and the beginning of January.
That's
go.
right.
Go.
And so for United and Guided, you know,
That your organization.
That is our organization, and we are known for having an event called Self-Care Sunday that happens every Sunday at Tahoe Park, 3501 59th Street. We are there. We try to hold 4 major events a week. One of them, or 4 major events a month rather, or a year. One of them is this month, and it's actually our Kwanzaa Festival, where we'll be inviting everybody. The public is invited to come out. We usually have a youth concert. There's food, but most of all, there's brotherhood and bringing together that unity, and some of those principles of Kwanzaa. We'll be celebrating them all in that one day. So that will be January 1st, the day of Imani. And it is a Sunday. Please come out. If you can make it, come out and celebrate with us.
So if I just Googled the name of your organization, United and Guided, if I just did that, would I get all this information too?
Yes, unitedandguided.org. You'll see the flyers. You'll see our blog posts. You know, a lot related to our Self-Care Sundays, our dad's group, Black Fathers Inc. And Papa Bear's Village, and you'll see a lot of pictures of us out there, trying to create unity and trying to empower our people.
That's really wonderful. Thanks for sharing these things. It's amazing, how I've heard of Kwanzaa for years, but to show me the principles that are behind it and how it focuses towards the new year, and then how it it there brings around celebrations to
Absolutely.
come those things together.
Absolutely.
But I want to thank you for coming to tell me all these things.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
having
Ray.
us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you
And
for
having
having us.
all your all around.
Yeah.
So, whew.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
we're
sir.
what, sir?
I was just saying thank you, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. And here's some special music by the Jim Ward Band.
In the bleak midwinter, all creation groans for a world in darkness, frozen like a stone. Light is breaking in a stable for a throne, and he shall reign forevermore, forevermore, and he shall reign forevermore, forevermore. Unto us a child is born, the King of kings and Lord of lords, and he shall reign forevermore, forevermore. If I were a wise man, I would travel far. And if I were a shepherd, I would do my part. Poor as I am, I will give to him my heart, and he shall reign forevermore, forevermore, and he shall reign forevermore, forevermore. And unto us the child is born, the King of kings, the Lord of lords, and he shall reign forevermore, forevermore. Here within the manger lies the one who made the starry sky, this baby born for sacrifice, Christ the Messiah. Into our hopes, into our fears, the Savior of the world appears, the promise of eternal years, Christ the Messiah, and he shall reign forevermore, forevermore, and he shall reign forevermore, forevermore, and he shall reign forevermore, forevermore, and he shall reign forevermore, forevermore. And unto us the child is born, the King of kings and Lord of lords, and he shall reign forevermore, forevermore. He shall reign, he shall reign, he shall reign, he shall reign.
We're back, and we're going to go to India now, and we're going to talk about something called Diwali and Navratri. Did I say it right?
You say it right.
Pretty good. Okay.
pretty
okay.
good.
Navrata Day, and you are a mother. It says, I love this, mother, actor, entrepreneur, founder of Razzle Dazzle Fashion.
Yes, sir.
Ooh. And then your daughter,
My daughter,
Trinity
Trinity.
Day, who is a student actor, scout, and a Vista del Lago High School student.
Absolutely, yes, that's me.
Not all of you. I'm sure there's much
well.
more to know.
It's some of me.
Just a
It's
little
enough
bit.
of me.
Okay. Well, welcome, and I'm really interested about your costumes and what you're wearing and how these things are celebrated. So why don't I throw the gauntlet up and say, okay, tell me, what is Diwali? What is this kind of celebration about?
Sure. Before going to Diwali, I would like to thank you first for inviting
Oh,
me
thank you.
in the show. This is really huge, and I'm pretty excited. Actually, we were pretty excited.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you so much for the invitation.
It's my pleasure, and it's so wonderful. I think of an idea. Whoever had this idea around this studio for us to do this is really great because Sacramento is so diverse. You know, my grandparents showed up from Poland here in 1918,
Oh, wow.
Okay.
a long time ago.
Europe.
And my grandparents, not my parents. Did I say parents? No, grandparents.
Grandparents.
Okay. Just get it correct. So tell us about it.
So Diwali is a celebration. I think she's very excited about to talk about
Oh,
Diwali.
boy.
She was, yeah. Go
I
for
was
wanna
talking
talk
about
about
it in
it?
the car.
I'll cue you.
Boom. Okay. Diwali is really a celebration of unity and a celebration of good conquering evil. From the stories that I've heard growing up, essentially, there's this really long tale that I was told multiple times when I was a kid. I'm not quite sure from who, because it was from very many people in my family. It was about Ram and Sita. There are two people from, I'm not quite sure where, some Hindu
Somewhere.
fiction.
Yeah.
And they had this whole story, and at the end of the story, they were led back to their house by these candles that were laid outside by all the people around them. And apparently there were more candles than there were stars in the sky.
I see.
And that's where Diwali comes from. So now we do that every year, as like a symbolic version of that.
So that's one of the aspects. What about food?
Food, we Indians are always very elaborate about our food, about our fashion, about almost pretty much everything in our life.
Go big or go home.
So
Go huge or go
food
home.
is a very important part of our life, and especially during the festivities, during the events. So we cook a lot of different sweets at home. We bake different kinds of snacks at home, and not only for us. We make them in big bunches so that we can distribute it among our friends and family and neighbors. So it's not a celebration that you celebrate at home all by yourself. It's like a big gathering, bringing all the people coming closer, coming together to celebrate the whole thing. It's as she said that we celebrate it it's a symbolization about winning the good over the evil. But apart from that, it has some other connections too. So we celebrate Diwali. There's another part of celebrating Diwali is like paying respect to our ancestors.
I
So
see.
all the lights, they are also kind of symbolizes towards that. And in different part of India, we celebrate Diwali in very different manner. So India is like Sacramento, you know, very diversified.
Yeah.
Very diversified. So if you travel from one state to another state, you will feel like you have come to a whole new country where people look different, they eat different food, they speak different language, not
Different
dialect.
culture.
That's what happens when I go to
Language.
Nevada
Or Texas.
or Texas.
But it's not a dialect, it's a whole different language they speak. And their food habit and everything is diversified, so as the celebration of the different events. So in some part of India, we celebrate Diwali in some rituals, some manners that they focus on. In different states, they celebrate in a different manner. Like the state that we are coming from, it's called West Bengal. The city I'm coming from is Kolkata. And in West Bengal, we have a different name for Diwali. We call it Kali Pujo or Deepavali. Those names are not that popular because it's a regional name,
Yeah.
you know. But we celebrate in a different way. So there is 2 days of celebration in West Bengal for Diwali. So the first day we put 14 diyas. Diyas are the candles. And those are to pay respect for 14 generations of our ancestors. And the next day we celebrate Diwali. We offer worship Goddess
And do you
Lakshmi.
wear different clothing for these things?
Yeah, different clothings like saris is something, is always a big part of any celebration for us. So Diwali is one of the biggest celebration in India. So it definitely calls for everybody to bring out their best from the closet.
Right.
And that's give me the opportunity to make more beautiful saris like that.
Yes.
Razzle Dazzle Fashion is, that's what we do. We make these beautiful saris for the beautiful women. So yeah, the saris and jewelries, all traditional attire. That's what we wear. The men's, they wear kurta pajama. The kids wear lehenga choli, salwar kameez.
Like I'm
And yeah, she's wearing a salwar kameez.
That's lovely.
It is.
Thank you.
It's really pretty. I like the color.
Yeah. Yeah. Pink.
Pink.
Yeah.
Really, my favorite
I
color
like
is
pink.
green, but
Yeah.
pink is also a very pretty color.
Yes. Oh, okay. Now get to the main subject, food.
Food.
Food, yeah. Food is like, as I said, we are very elaborate on our food. So we make special dishes, many different kinds of sweets, uncountable amount of different kind of sweets that we make, and snacks that we make and distribute to everyone. For main course, of course, biryani is something is like all-time favorite, and people does that.
Yes.
But then again, there is another part in West Bengal where it called Kali Pujo. They offer goat meat. That's one of the main food
Yes,
on that
I
day.
read that.
Yeah. So, and they offer that to the goddesses as well. But there are some parts of India where you will find that people are vegetarian and they avoid meat, and they have some different kind of cuisine.
I see. So diversity is in celebration. I like it. I love it.
Whatever the food is for sure the best part of the celebration.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
So
Probably
there are these
everyone's
people
opinion.
come over from India and they live all over the United States, and you live here. And so is the Indian community here? What do they do?
Indian community here are pretty active in celebrating all kind of events, whether they are Indian events or from like Christmas, Halloween. We are a part of Indian community over here in Sacramento, and we celebrate Diwali. We more than Diwali, we celebrate Durga Puja, which is Navratri. You brought that term up.
Yep.
So Navratri is the first celebration that we do. It's Nava is 9, Ratri is nights. So it's a celebration that is celebrated for whole 9 days, 9 nights. And then that one is celebrating Goddess Durga.
I see.
And then after 1 month, kind of like ballpark, after 1 month, Diwali comes, where we worship Goddess Lakshmi, who is another form of Goddess Durga.
I see.
So there is a small little connection between these two.
I see. And you, being a younger person,
Yeah.
which part do you like the best?
Well, I do like seeing my friends, but still I think the food is the best. Not just because I really enjoy eating food, but because like I'm eating food with my friends and like all my family and everybody, and everyone's together sitting in like one place, and we're talking and having fun. And I think that's kind of the best part of it, being with everyone.
So far, I've talked about Christmas, and I've talked about the Kwanzaa, and now India, and what you just said was the key of most of the other ones as
Yeah.
well. Getting together,
I feel like that's
enjoying food as a way of celebrating life and companionship.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the most important thing about really any holiday. Holiday is that being with people that you love, then you
All
want to
good.
be around.
Well said. Well said. So it's an interesting thing. Are there gifts giving?
Yeah, that's a big part of the celebration too. Diwali is like Indian Christmas, you know. So without gift, it doesn't
not gonna
complete.
happen.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So that's a big part of the celebration. We buy gift for everyone in the family, for friends, and it's a happy time for everyone, getting the gifts and giving the gifts, both.
Right, right. I like the people who were talking in about Kwanzaa. They said, and these aren't like crummy toys. These are really handmade things. I love that one.
Oh yeah. I remember getting handmade jewelry from India and from my mom's like shop, and getting all clothes and stuff like that, and I'm hearing that they're all handmade from our loom.
Oh,
and
sweet.
I don't 100% understand exactly what that means, but I think that's really special.
I think it is. I think it is. But your shop's not in India, it's here, right?
It's an online store.
Online,
So
from
I have a
India.
website.
Okay.
My production is in India.
I see.
So my artisans live in India.
I see.
My artist over there. So I make them done over there and bring them over here.
And you travel back and
I travel, yeah.
Ooh, what a life.
It is a very long trip, and I would not suggest doing that trip for fun.
No, it's 20 hours, I heard. 20 hours in an airplane.
Yeah, it's
almost a
like
whole day.
minimum 20 hours. Some like I just came back after a 5-week trip to India. It was a work trip, and it was crazy. This time it's about 32 hours. I had to fly one way, so it's no fun.
Okay, well, it's quite a journey, but you know, my friends that have done it, my brother, and he says it's tough, but once you get there, it's wonderful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's wonderful.
Absolutely.
So-
There is another part I should say about celebrating Diwali or any other festivities in India. That's cultural events and cultural programs.
Okay.
That's a big part of any of our celebration. In India, especially in West Bengal, we nurture a lot about extracurricular activities, what we call
And the arts.
singing art. It's
The
like
arts.
singing, dancing, acting, painting. Those are the
Poems.
poems, writing. Those are the
Everything.
things that we really, really appreciate, and we practice it a
Practice it.
lot.
That's
yeah.
great. That's great.
So, and these are the time when all the cultural, whatever you practice for the whole year, this is a time to showcase all your talents.
Yeah.
So cultural programs and activities, singing, dancing, those are always a big part of our celebration.
Yeah, I always thought that Christmas, you know, we do the same old stories over and over and over again. I thought, you know, we need somebody to write some new Christmas story.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I would like some new Christmas stories because I've heard so much of the same ones, but also I kind of like some of the old ones. A couple of them are fun.
yeah, you know, come on, yeah. But I think it's very wonderful. I noted that on the paper it said that that the creative aspect of it was very, very important.
Yeah.
Really good. Good. Well, it's a special time, and this we have these events in this time of the year, and I think it's fascinating to be able to find out how people celebrate, what they do. You know, okay, we can use food to celebrate. Okay, we can use creativity, making dolls and dancing, special dances and things like that. And of course, Indian dances are quite wonderful as well, aren't they?
They're very complicated. I've tried to participate in a couple like cultural dances for some holidays, and they're very hard to do. So if you know how to dance in like a classical Indian style, I commend you, I applaud you, because I simply am unable.
Well, it's been great talking to you, and come on
Same
back
here.
sometime.
Thank you.
Sure,
Okay,
absolutely.
good. Here's music by J.B. Motes.
Only the Lord could love so much, leave his home in heaven, give up paradise for us. Only the Lord could love so much, leave brilliant streets of gold to walk these dirty, dusty roads. It has to be love. It has to be love to come to this old world with all its pain. It has to be love. It has to be love to live among the people he would save. Only the Lord could love so much, hang out with the outcast, feed hungry crowds for free. Only the Lord would love so much to touch and heal lepers, drive the demons to the sea. It has to be love to freely choose to come to a planet that's so brutal and riddled with disease. Yes, it has to be love. It has to be love to lift up the downtrodden and make the blind to see. Only the Lord that loves so much laid down his life for sinners, for the cross for you and me. Only the Lord would love so much to live for us forever. Now we can share the victory. It has to be love, only Jesus' love, to conquer this old world of death and shame. It has to be love, only Jesus' love, to save everyone who calls upon his name. To be love, only Jesus' love, to conquer this old world of death and shame. It has to be love, only Jesus' love, to save everyone who calls upon his name. Thank you.
All right. Well, we're back with me is David Shapiro. He's a local comedian and a man who produces events throughout Sacramento. And I want to welcome you here. We're going to talk about something you know about, which is
What? Well, I'm going to let you say
Hanukkah.
it. Yes, I know about Hanukkah. I do.
At any rate,
I was scared you were going to switch it.
It's an interesting period of time when you have so many, you have Christmas, you have Hanukkah, you have African and
Kwanzaa.
American thing, Kwanzaa, and Wali, and things like that, all around the world.
The winter solstice as well.
It is, yeah. So it's an interesting time, and I wanted to talk to other people about their special events. And I thought, okay, well, let's do Hanukkah, because Hanukkah is a very interesting, it's an ancient and wonderful thing.
Well, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So tell me about it. There's things that each one of them have, like toys for kids, like a dreidel.
Oh, well, I'm going to dispel some notions, I guess. So traditionally, Hanukkah wasn't a gift-giving holiday. Like, we're going back, 500 years, 1,000 years, 2,000 years. Yeah. Not a gift-giving holiday. It's a holiday to celebrate the Jews. We're always escaping from somebody or running from, somebody's trying to persecute us or kill us or just throw cheese at us or something weird. So we escape from the Philistines, the Hanukkah story. And that's what the celebration is. It's the festival of lights, is what Hanukkah means. And only when Jewish children started cohabitating with Gentile children and having to be around them while they got Christmas gifts, did Jewish parents say, like, oh, we should probably give our kids gifts, because you get Christmas envy as a Jewish child. You know, everything's trees
it's
and
kind of
lights.
an association, you know, there was-
Santa's coming and he's not coming to your house. You know, it doesn't matter if you've been bad or good. So Jewish parents give their kids traditionally now give their kids one gift a night.
Yeah.
I don't know how widespread this is, but my family, we had something called Hanukkah pockets, and that was kind of like stockings.
Yes.
So the pockets were small and they were on the wall, and that's where I got the little gifts. You know, some nights a pack of gum, some nights like a gift card or whatever existed in 1989. And then we had one night where we'd do like a big gift giving with the whole family, more like a Christmas.
One of the early television programs talked about this very issue. It was a woman who all she would do was lean out of a window, talking to another woman who's in the window, which is the camera, and she's talking about. She says, "You know, the kids are asking for Christmas gifts, and I don't know what to do. You know, so and they want everything about Christmas." And she said, and this is in about 1952 or 3, you know. So she ends up getting a small tree at the local corner, and she says, "Now this is a Hanukkah bush." And
The Hanukkah bush it's famous.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
'cause-
so it's all kind of adapting to the greater energy with kids really want.
Assimilating in a way. You know,
assimilating.
you as a parent, I imagine, you don't want your kid to feel that left out. I actually grew up with Roman Catholic grandparents, so I had all the Christmas trappings in my life. That was the house that Santa went to, and that's where I had a Christmas tree, and you make ornaments in class, and then you can put them on the tree all the same. So I never really pined for the Hanukkah bush, but my dad told me stories about him wanting a Hanukkah bush, and it just, I got it though, because I wanted something at home, and you do the best you can with the menorah and streamers and
the dreidel.
And the dreidel, you have a lot of dreidels out. Dreidels like the motif of Hanukkah, pillow-shaped or dreidel-shaped pillows, and dreidel-shaped plates and stemware. So.
Any special religious activities?
For Hanukkah?
Yeah, besides the menorah. Which
Sure. Depends how observant you are. I grew up pretty, I guess nowadays it's called secular. Back when I was growing up, we called it Reformed. So the most religious aspect of Hanukkah for my family was to light the menorah and say the blessing. Kind of a somber moment. Where you're remembering why you're lighting the candles, and that's, for my family, was the most religious aspect. There are other Hanukkah's. That's the other kind of misconception about Hanukkah. People think it's like the most important Jewish holiday. This is an unofficial ranking, but it's probably like number 6 in the terms of Jewish holidays. Like the High Holy Days, Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah. Those are much more. There's much more religious activity, and Purim, Passover, definitely, Sukkot. So there's just not much to do on Hanukkah that I know of. I hope I don't get vilified. But that my family did. There's not much to do beside light the menorah.
So that's an interesting time of the year anyway, because we're all trying to keep warm and celebrate. Very interesting, and so, and I think as you say, it kind of developed in an American version of celebrating. We had to get these gifts.
Oh, I wouldn't. No, I'd say worldwide, because Christmas is worldwide. So it had not much to do with America. It just had to do more with cohabitation across the globe. As the Jews were shoved from one place to the next. So.
Yeah, and so do you think that the aspects of giving gifts and all of that, that's all kind of archetypal, and that we had to find an event to do these, to be able to give gifts back and forth?
Oh, well, I think that's a love language, right? Gift giving. So I think that depends on who you are, and I think it is archetypal. I think it's nice to be a kid and have that holiday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not every kid gets that holiday though, so You're fortunate when you do.
That's good, good, good. I want to thank you for coming to talk to
Sure.
me about this. And you also do stand-up comedy?
I do stand-up comedy. I'm an actor, and my ex-wife didn't want to leave Sacramento, and there's not a lot of. I'm lucky I have some great acting jobs in Sacramento.
Yes.
But as a compromise between the two of us, when we were still married, I started doing stand-up comedy.
I see.
I don't think it worked. She divorced me, but I kept doing it, and now I have something to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're also a producer. You produce events.
I produce events. I produce a couple shows, a couple comedy shows. I also actually produce a couple drag shows. So I'm pretty lucky that people come to the events that I produce, and I get to put them on for people.
This is great. Great.
Thank you.
And you open them to some new ideas and creativity.
That's actually one of the best parts is kind of showing people an art form that they might not have considered. They come for one and then they see the other when it's like a half drag, half comedy show. And then, oh, this is good, both ways. I'd like to see more of this, and then hopefully they do. They appreciate the art form then, if they've never seen it.
It's an American thing, I mean, drag shows are part of vaudeville.
Sure,
And
sure.
Vaudeville's, beginning of the 20th century, it grew.
Well, I think drag, actually the first drag queen in America was 1860, I'm going to forget.
Somewhere there.
61 or 63. It was actually a former slave who was the first person referred to as queen of drag. Right, and it actually was kind of, there were acting roles that only men could act or whatever back then. And so men played all the parts. So drag in some form has been happening for forever, everywhere.
Oh, right. I guess so, back in Shakespeare's time, that there were no women in the theater companies.
Right.
And so they had young boys play the women's roles.
Right.
It was just part of the situation. In fact, if you wanted to do a play, you actually had to apply in London. You wanted to do a play, you had to apply and pass the script and get it passed for, cleanness. And,
Well, that's not much different from today, right? Someone has
true.
to approve your script.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up is the lovely and talented Irena Lomova-Ivanov and friends.
Silent night, holy night, shepherds pray at the side, glory stream from heaven afar. Heavenly hosts sing Alleluia. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born.
Our next guest will be talking about Christmas and its traditions and its origins, and she is, and you're not going to believe this, our producer of LiveWire, Lorraine Fahey.
Thank you, Ray. So I'm here to talk about the traditional Christmas holiday. But before I can talk about our traditions today, we need to kind of go back and find out what was the origins of the Christmas holiday. So I do have some notes here. So the Christmas holiday has the origins in the ancient pagan festival of Saturnalia, which was celebrated from December 17th through the 25th. During Saturnalia, the Roman pagans would celebrate the winter solstice and exchange gifts, much like how we celebrate and exchange gifts. But in the early years of Christianity, many of the Christians opposed celebrating Christmas because it was not explicitly mentioned in the Bible. However, so over time, the church began to embrace Christmas as a way to evangelize non-Christians. So today, Christians celebrate Christmas as a religious holiday commemorating the birth of Christ. So when basically did Christmas begin changing from a pagan holiday to a Christian holiday? So Christmas began as a pagan holiday, which was later adopted by the Christians. However, the date and the way Christmas was celebrated today differs from when it was originally celebrated. So some historians actually believe that Christmas began to change probably in the origins of the 4th century AD, when Emperor Constantine I declared Christianity as the official religion of the Roman Empire. So Christians began to celebrate Christmas as a way in honoring Christ's birth. So Christmas, many believe, some of the historians also believe that the origins were much earlier. Some believe that the Pope Julius I officially proclaimed December 25th as Christ's birthday in 364 AD. So the date was actually chosen probably to coincide with the solstice, the winter solstice. But right now, the way we celebrate on December 25th. So we've kind of kept that. A lot of historians, people haven't really pinned down the actual date. Some believe it's closer to when the Easter holiday is. But however, Christmas, the way we have our traditions now and the way we've changed it into being a Christian holiday, it's celebrated basically all over the world in different ways. Christmas, there's so many different countries that celebrate Christmas in their own way. And Christmas is a special time of the year when you should be getting together with friends and family, just caring for one another and, bringing peace and love out there to humanity. And from us here at LiveWire, we want to say thank you for watching us for over the years. Also, I just want to wish you and all of us at LiveWire want to wish you a happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and just enjoy.
Thank you for joining me and all of our special guests and performers. And thank you, and we'll see you next time on LiveWire. I'm Ray Tatter, and I wish you all the happiest of holidays.